Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing a Hellcat Durango. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Doug Smith Dodge Ram here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this Hellcat Durango. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And by the way, this Durango is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, reach out to them, just ask for Colby. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Hellcat Durango is a supercharged 6.2-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs with the Hellcat Durango are 710 horsepower and then 645 pound-feet of torque. And what was that? You want to know fuel economy? Sorry, I can't hear you over the supercharger whine. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see the hood scoop there in the center and then the venting on either side. It just looks so aggressive. And I like the stripes here in the center too. Now I've got the Durango's new style of headlights here, and then look at the SRT Hellcat badge, and then look at how aggressive that front grille is, and then also down below. Obviously you need lots of openings to feed that supercharged V8. And putting it all together, it takes the Durango, which is already an aggressive SUV, and just makes it even more aggressive. Come around the side here, tire and wheel setup is 295, 45, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And I'm actually a big fan of this style of wheel. You've got the silver there on the top, and then notice how it's darker there in the center. And then also, yeah, Brembo brakes, and they are absolutely enormous. We've got these really nice body painted fender flares here to fit the wider tires. And then you guys can see you've got your Hellcat badge on the side. And then notice how everything is like body painted here on the side. And then you also have a fender flare there in the rear. And putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about this color, but the side profile on this looks good. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock function or lock function, the opening here for the hatch, remote start, and then you got your Hellcat logo there on the back of the key fob, but we'll pop her open. Popping into the rear, we have a decent amount of cargo space behind the third row. And you can see we also have a 12 volt here. And then just like the regular Durango, you pull this little tab and that'll help you throw down the third row to give you more storage. And then you've got this button here on the side to just lower everything down. And so I guess we'll do that. Now you guys can see the giant light bar here on the back, and it looks so cool. And by the way, the center portion being tinted, that's something that the previous owner did to this Durango. That is not from the factory. So yeah, this one's pre-owned. But anyways, we've got our SRT Hellcat badge, and then you've got parking sensors here at the bottom. Got a bezel that covers the receiver hitch. I think this thing can tow like almost 9,000 pounds. It's pretty crazy. And then you've got the giant exhaust tips there at the bottom too. And putting it all together, the tinted taillights actually help out quite a bit. I like the look. I like the look. Now taking a look at the door panel here, you guys can see the trim piece that goes across, and then look at the stitching and everything. That looks fantastic. And then this one has the red interior, so you guys can see you've got the Hellcat emblem there, and then notice with the red seatbelt, we have perforated leather all down the center. And then being a Durango, I mean, legroom back here is solid for the second row. We've got a little storage net. We got some vents here. You've got heated seats, USBs, full outlet, and then we've got our own climate zone up top here for the rear passengers, and then tons of vents. And I've popped into the rear seat of many a Durango over the years of the channel, so like you can fit adults back there relatively comfortably. It's one of the larger sized crossovers in this particular size segment. And look how nice the seats are. They keep them nice with the leather. Now taking a look at the front door panel here, it's identical to the rear with the material use. Automatic for the front two windows. We got memory seats, blind spot monitoring for the mirrors as well. And then I guess we'll show the payload here, 1,200 pounds. And then you guys can see the white stitching here in the red seats, perforated leather all down the center. You got the red seat belts up front just like the back. Seats obviously power adjustable. Fancy looking pedals here with the Hellcat. And then we've got our light control right here, and then I like that little bit of leather trim right there. Now taking a look at this steering wheel, you guys can see that it's perforated here on the sides, so you can get a slightly better grip. And then we've got really nice leather trim all over, and then of course SRT logo there in the center. We've got regular cruise control as well as adaptive cruise control radio controls on the back of the steering wheel with these nice paddle shifters, and then some controls there for the center stack. Now taking a look at the gauge cluster, I love how red and aggressive it is. I love how the speedo goes up to 200 miles an hour. But yeah, 9,200 miles, like I said, this one is pre-owned. And I know I'll get some comments about it being pre-owned and all this, but here's the deal. The only difference between this and the last call is a freaking plaque under the hood. Everything else is the same. But anyways, you can scroll through different menus basically to see different bits of info on the vehicle, different settings, all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, I think the gauge cluster looks pretty good. Now in reverse, we do have the backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And then moving to the infotainment system, I love how we've got the race car helmets on the climate control people. I think it's so funny still. Heated and ventilated seats up front, heated steering wheel, obviously dual zone climate. I mean, this has all the luxury car amenities to it. And then yes, we still have the headrest fold, which is always a mainstay, that is for sure. But if I press the SRT button, I'll show that to you guys a little bit later. This shows our drive modes. So this literally has everything. We've got a track mode, sport mode, snow tow. Like, you could you could basically tow a race car to the track, and then you could also drive this itself on the track as well, which I find kind of crazy. I love that the eco mode is like in its own little area. Let's actually drive in eco mode on the driving portion. I think that'll be fun. Down below, we've got our analog controls for the radio, the climate zone, the heated and cooled seats, all of that. I like that there's physical buttons, and then we have our little SRT button, and then launch control there as well, stability control. We've got the parking sensors, lane departure, and then you guys can see the USB action. And then we also have a wireless phone charging pad, which the camera doesn't really want to pick up. And then look at the stitching here. I also want to mention that. And then the trim. That's pretty cool. Shifter here for the 8-speed automatic. We do have the manual mode. You got some cup holder action here. And then look at the trim on the side. And then nice looking center console, actually. Good storage space. And then it does have like the little thing on the top. And yeah, glove box is pretty normal. There's a 12 volt right next to it. And then up top, nothing too crazy. We got universal garage openers, and then this particular one doesn't actually have a sunroof. Quick pause, I almost forgot. We also have trailer brake controls integrated from the factory. Now when it comes to pricing, the 2023 last call Durangos, depending on options, are right around that $100,000 mark. And so I guess we'll see if this, drives like $100,000. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, Hellcat Durango way. Now this is like the, second Hellcat Durango I've reviewed in the last few weeks. Not a bad last few weeks to have as a car journalist, that is for sure. So officially getting up and moving with the Hellcat Durango. You just get a little bit of supercharger whine all the time, and I'm actually curious to see, oh yeah, we are in the eco mode. I'm gonna say, I wanna see what it's like in the eco mode. Don't worry, I'll put it in the sport mode when we do the acceleration, don't worry. But it's surprisingly like normal, and that's one of the things I love about this vehicle is how it just has so many different, personalities, right? It can be a towing vehicle, it can be a crazy performance vehicle, but it also can just be a regular, comfortable, kind of like luxury SUV. You have to remember the Durango itself it's a pretty comfortable vehicle. I mean, it's a slightly longer vehicle, so with that longer wheelbase, when you go over bumps and everything, it doesn't get upset, and it's comfortable. Yeah, it's so cool to hear the little bit of supercharger whine. Man, why do people do this? I hate when people like try to get over the last possible second. It's like, okay. Anyways, let's take it out of eco mode, pop into sport mode. Got a little bit more. Ooh, that's a lot more. I'm not even, it's just downshifting. It's just like, okay, let's do this. Ooh, that's fun. That's fun. It sounds so good. Man, the Hellcat, you'll just like, there's nothing that's ever going to just beat a Hellcat when it comes to sound. Just listen to this thing. Listen to that. You can't. And that's the thing is like just partial throttle. This thing has like as much passing power as most vehicles full throttle. That's what happens when you have 710 horsepower. And the transmission tuning on this, look at that in the sport mode. Oh my gosh. It's such a beautiful sound. Such a beautiful sound. Listen to this. Oh man, that just, I mean, just the supercharger whine sound, that just gets you going. So to start to sum things up here with the Hellcat Durango, I think the seats are very comfortable. I like the looks on the outside. I love this, like the main reason why I wanted to review this one is I love the theme on this with like the blue on the outside and the red on the inside. I know it's not for everyone, but I think it's just so cool. It's so aggressive. I love how just like you get like a little bit of supercharger whine. Okay, let's punch it. I don't even need, do I need to talk during this review? I think I can let the car do the talking for us. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's such a fun performance vehicle. It's also a family vehicle. You can also tow with it. I said the same thing in my first Durango Hellcat review. Like, this is expensive, and it's expensive for a Durango, but when you look at all the utility you get and the special feel that you get this, again, with the powertrain, with this, right? It's actually a bargain because you're getting a performance car kind of paired with a truck, kind of paired with a family vehicle. Like you'd have to, yeah, you literally have to buy like 3 vehicles to get the utility that you get out of this one Hellcat Durango. Let me know what you guys think.